What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Nice little 5-game Thursday slate we got tonight. Gonna break it all down with you guys. Talk through everything. Been a really quiet day for news. Like nothing's come out during the day that's impactful. Still a lot of question marks regarding Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier questionable, OG Anunoby still questionable. Really tough slate right now. There's good studs I want to pay up for, but there's like no value to get them in. Like the cheap guys that I'm looking at are like Derrick Jones Jr. and fucking like Seth Curry and Dwayne Bacon. Man, value's tough tonight. But we'll talk through everything, answer all your guys' questions. Appreciate you being here once again. No, I wasn't able to stream yesterday, but we're back for this slate. I went and played golf with my dad yesterday, and when I go play golf with my dad, we tend to be out there for a while. I'll say. We went and we teed off at like 1, and we didn't get back till I didn't get back home till like 5:30. So, wanted to stream yesterday, but we were out there for too long. This slate as a whole is questionable. Yeah, I feel you there. Tough one, definitely. Like just the value's just not good. There's nothing that stands out. But these studs I want. Like Lillard I think's too cheap. Vooch just continues to smash. I want to try and fit in Vooch if I can. It's just like there's no value to get him in. What's up, Noah? Do you use roto-grinders or anything to make your projections? I don't make projections, Matthew. I'll listen to other people. I'll watch other shows and stuff, but I don't make projections or anything. Let's make that money. Let's get it, Chris. Let's get it, man. McGruder's a good value, man. Roddy McGruder. I wonder how he did that day. Whenever that dude asked about him, he probably didn't even play. Roby killed a lot of people last night, including me. Not good. Yeah, we'll talk about the Roby thing. So if you were on Twitter last night, you could have got off of Roby. So I'll show you guys real quick. So last night on Twitter, Twitter was your friend last night, because if you had Twitter, if you were following, a bunch of beat writers, you could have found the info. But let me pull up my Twitter account real quick. So I tweeted this, or I didn't tweet it out, but we got this tweet from one of the Thunder beat writers at 8:37, so about hour and a half before tip-off. The Thunder beat writer tweeted out their starting lineups, and then she said, Isaiah Roby is a game-time decision. The head coach says he has to make it through warm-ups to see how that toe is feeling. So, at that point, I'm like, okay, he's a game-time decision. I'm assuming he's playing because, they don't really have any other bodies, but, this will be something to monitor. He's not, a lock to play. And then we got another tweet from one of the beat writers or I don't know if this is a beat writer or not, I think it is, but he tweeted out at 9:48, so literally like 10 minutes before tip-off, we got a tweet that the team was doing warm-ups and there was no Isaiah Roby. Like, he wasn't out there for warm-ups 10 minutes before the game started. So at that point, I'm thinking he's not going to play. And, at that point, I'm like, well, if Roby's not out there for warm-ups, he's probably not playing. I'm just going to play it safe and get off of him. So I made sure to tell everybody in the Discord, like, hey, he's not out there right now. You probably want to, make a pivot. Play anybody. Just don't play Roby, because he could definitely get a 0. Pivot to whoever you can. Doesn't matter who it is. Just pivot to somebody that's at least going to score some points. And then eventually, I believe Fantasy Labs tweeted out at 10:12. So at tip-off, we get word that Isaiah Roby's a late scratch. So it was kind of one of those things. If you were on Twitter, you could have avoided it. Twitter is definitely your friend. Like I've always said, guys, you want to be on Twitter for NBA news. Like these beat writers, you got to follow these beat writers. I'm always checking for news, like right before a game starts. I want to make sure that my guy's out there, because in fucking NBA, man, like news just like there's no designated injury report. Like you don't see this happen in NFL. Like Tom Brady isn't gonna just randomly not be on the field for warm-ups, but in NBA, bro, it happens all the time. Players just don't. It's like where's my guy at? Where is he? Like why is he not on the bench? And then you get word, oh, he hurt his hamstring in warm-ups and he's not playing. It's like, why can we know about that, an hour ago or whenever it happened? The injury reporting's been so bad for so many years. It continues to be bad. So you got to be on Twitter, following for news. I feel for those of you that did play Roby. I feel for you. It sucks, man. It sucks, but I got lucky. I saw that and I was like, oh shit, I better tell everybody, better let everybody know that, Roby probably is not going to play. How'd you do in golf? I did all right. Didn't have the greatest day. I shot I think a 95, which is pretty, that's okay for me. Usually if I can shoot like below 90s, like in the 80s, I have a pretty good day. I mean, I'm just kind of learning. I'm not really that good. I just, I got there for fun. It's really fun though. I really enjoy playing golf in my free time. You're not allowed to play golf during NBA season. Well, I play during the afternoon when, and then I get back home and that's when I can start working on lineups and stuff. But I understand, wanting to stream too. A lot of times when I do wind up playing golf, I kind of am not able to stream. Had Roby but still cash. Yeah, I mean, if you made it out last night with Roby, you should probably feel pretty good, I guess. I mean, I know he was really popular still, especially on Draftkings. He was still like 40-50% owned. Never had Twitter till Noah said it. Only follow Noah in Fantasy Labs. Yeah, you got to follow. I mean, just even beat writers. Like follow, beat writers for every team because that can be friendly as well. Because Fantasy Labs didn't tweet it out till after the game had started that Roby was out. If you followed the beat writers, though, you would have found out that he was not out there for warm-ups. That's what I saw. Once I saw that he was not out there for warm-ups, I was like, okay, we gotta change something. Had Roby, but still won 2 out of 3 contests. Yeah, again, like if you made it out, you should probably feel pretty good, I guess. Especially since Roby was so popular, you probably could have still cashed with him. Have you got a hole-in-one? Never got a hole-in-one. The closest I've gotten on a par 3 is like maybe 20 feet. I mean, I'm not good at all. Like I just kind of go up there and hit it and hope for the best. Brogdon, Waller, Lowry for cash. I mean, right now I would say Brogdon. I still think Brogdon and Sabonis are both too cheap. Really like both of them again. And I played both of them last night. It was looking really bad, but they kind of managed to keep the game close. They got a good fourth quarter run. Brogdon, he was still not that great, but Sabonis at least came through. He was solid. He wasn't great either, but I was at least able to profit last night. What's going on with Sabonis? 3 games that he gooses out. Yeah, it feels like whenever I play Sabonis, like he sucks, and then when I don't play him, that's when he goes off. I've had some good Sabonis games, but I've definitely played him when he's done bad. Sabonis is one of those guys, like, he'll be so consistent, like, he'll score, like, 50-plus for, like, 3 straight games, and then when I play him, that's when he'll have, like, 35 or something. Go-to Twitter source, I mean, I follow Fantasy Labs. They're the best account, in my opinion, to follow for news and starting lineups, but you do need to follow beat writers as well, because, Fantasy Labs isn't tweeting out every single thing. Whereas beat writers, they're tweeting, they're at the game, and they can tell, if a guy's not out there for warm-ups, they'll tweet it out and stuff. Because, yeah, like I said, Fantasy Labs didn't tweet out that Roby was out till, after the game. Fantasy Labs just tweets out what's on the injury report. So, Roby wasn't technically wasn't on the injury report. Is Kemba Walker due to open up against a nice matchup versus Portland? They play Toronto, boss man. You might be thinking about the wrong person. If Cousins fails again tonight, I mean, term him distant. Cousins, keep him at distance in your roster. I mean, yeah, Cousins has been so frustrating to roster lately. Let me see your results from yesterday. I can pull up my lineup real quick. Oh, let me escape real quick. I gotta back this up. So I'll pull up my Yahoo and my DK lineup. And like I said, I did have Roby, but I got off of him last minute, which was beneficial. Okay, lineups. Recent. All right, so here's what I played on DK. Here's what I played on DK, and originally, so in my forward and my util, at forward I originally had Isaiah Roby, and then at util I think I had Dante DiVincenzo. I honestly can't remember. I think I had Dante DiVincenzo at util. So I swapped off of Roby, upgraded to Kendrick Williams, and then I dropped down from Dante DiVincenzo to Bryn Forbes. I liked Williams going into the slate. I didn't really have much interest in Bryn Forbes, but he just kind of fit the build. He was starting. Without Drew Holiday, he was going to start and probably play close to 30 minutes, so yeah, I mean, I had a solid night. Terry Rozier, he was a core play on DK for me. Hamidou Diallo was a core play. Sabonis was a core play. Roby was a core play, and then obviously, that happened. But my core plays on Patreon that I posted for subs were Westbrook, Rozier, Diallo, Sabonis, and Roby. But obviously, when that Roby news came out, I made sure to let everybody know that, Roby wasn't playing. But that's what I ran on DK last night. 306.25 was what I finished. And then on Yahoo, this is what I ran. It's kind of similar. Had Diallo, I guess it's not that similar, but I had Diallo, I had Sabonis. I did play Brogdon and Sabonis on Yahoo. Had LaMelo Ball. I didn't love LaMelo Ball heading into the slate, but I had to make like a late swap. So I originally had, can't remember what the original build I had, but I made like a 2v2 swap. I think I had Harden and Joe Val, I think, and then I swapped it to Sabonis and LaMelo or something like that. But once we got word that Anthony Davis was ruled out, I did want to get Kuzma in on Yahoo because he was so cheap over there. I like Kuzma quite a bit. And then in my center and util spot, I originally had Chris Middleton and Isaiah Roby, but I swapped off of Isaiah Roby, upgraded that to Al Horford, and then I downgraded from Middleton to Dennis Schroeder. And that was a good swap. That definitely helped me. I probably wouldn't have cashed if I didn't make. That was probably the best swap I could have made off of Roby and Middleton was Horford Schroeder. So one of those nights where I just got lucky, man. I mean, I was able to pull out a profit, which is always nice, but I didn't take anything down or anything. But I got lucky getting off of Roby. Like when I was swapping off of Roby, I was thinking in my head like, I feel like this is gonna go bad. Like he's gonna still play and put up a big game, but I just couldn't risk it. Once it was announced he wasn't out there for warm-ups, it was just too risky. Couldn't do it. Kemba Walker due against a nice matchup versus Toronto, or Ben Simmons against Portland. I mean, I wouldn't say a matchup against Toronto is that great. I still have interest in Kemba, but the matchup's not great. Ben Simmons, it's a good matchup, but I just never really play Ben Simmons when the Sixers are fully healthy. At his price point today, he doesn't really stand out as a top option for me. Beal's out for tomorrow. Yeah, he is. I wonder what Westbrook's price is going to be. Westbrook was freaking 8,400 yesterday, and he's still disappointed. But 8,400 for Westbrook, man, that was just way too cheap in my opinion. I wonder what his price is going to be for tomorrow. I can't imagine he's anything below 9K. If he's below 9K, I mean, Westbrook is going to be a stone lock tomorrow. He had me sweating bullets. Yeah, he was he got into some early foul trouble. He was not having a good game at all, and then he turned it up in the fourth quarter. He managed to salvage. I mean, 42 DK points wasn't terrible for his price, but obviously not great. Really, Terry Rozier was the main reason I was able to profit last night. I was pretty high on Terry Rozier with Devontae Graham still out. I thought he was underpriced. Obviously, I did not expect him to have as good of a game as he did, but yeah, we got lucky there. What's good, Noah? Let's get this bread tonight. Let's get it, Trevor. Let's get it, my man. He's 9K exactly. Is the pricing already out for tomorrow? Man, if Westbrook's 9K tomorrow, oh my God. He's going to be oh, okay, hold up. I thought they don't release the pricing till later. Oh shit, the pricing is out. Westbrook's 9K. Oh my God. Well, he's a lock tomorrow. Jesus. God. They had that news, that news came out earlier too. You would have thought DraftKings would have made him 10K or something. Make it actually be a tough decision. I mean, with 9K, God, Westbrook's gonna be so good tomorrow. Any love for Covington? Not really. I just don't really go to Covington. He just doesn't have much upside. His price is coming up too. I just think there's other guys I'd rather go to over Robert Covington. Robert Covington is just never someone I feel like I have to play. I mean, he's just you need him to knock down 5 threes, or you need him to get 2 steals and 3 blocks or something. Just outlandish performances. Tough to always gauge what you're going to get from Covington. Is Ronnie McGruder viable tonight? I don't think I can go there. How many minutes do you expect Maxey to play without Shake? I really have no idea. I mean, he was barely in the rotation last game. He only played 3 minutes. I mean, my best guess is probably 15, 18. I don't think he's viable, honestly. I'm probably not playing him. Is it okay fading Vooch and Sabonis to get Dame and some other mid-price guys like Boucher, Green, Grant, and Wright? I mean, yeah, that's fine with me, Dylan, especially if we don't get any value. Now, if we do get word that Cole Anthony's out, then we'll obviously have some value with Frank Mason. That'll probably make it a little bit easier to get those studs in, but that's a 10 o'clock game, so I don't know if we're going to have any of that news before lock. Tell me why my lineup was crushing yesterday. Got distracted later in the night and didn't take Roby out last night, and still placed my lineup would have crushed. I mean, I feel you there, Brandon. I mean, I was lucky to be on Twitter at the time. I mean, I had no idea that Roby was even dealing with an injury. He wasn't on the injury report, so I had no idea that he was even hurt. And then the beat writer tweeted that out at 8:30. So once I saw that tweet, I knew, okay, I need to check Twitter maybe 10, 15 minutes before the game starts, see if he's out there warming up and stuff. And then we got word that he wasn't out there warming up, so I swapped off of him. How you feel about Tobias Harris tonight? I mean, it's kind of the same thing, him and Ben Simmons. Like, I just rarely play them when the team's fully healthy. When Embiid's out there, I don't really ever feel like I have to go out of my way to play Harris or Simmons. Seth Curry, okay, yeah, I'm fine with Seth Curry as a value. I mean, right now, there's not a ton of great cheap plays, and Curry, in a good matchup against Portland, I mean, he's cheap. I think he's definitely in play. None or Hero, I mean, probably Tyler Hero if I had to pick one. I don't really like either guy today, like especially at their price points, but I guess I'd go Hero if I had to pick one. Does Robert Williams being out change anything for you? I mean, not really. Like Tristan Thompson, I know he's kind of cheap, and Daniel Tice is like below 5K. Maybe you see those guys pick up a few more minutes. Like maybe Thompson plays 27, 28 minutes. Maybe Daniel Tice plays like 30. I mean, they're not like it's not like Thompson's like 3,700. I think if Thompson was like 3,700, he'd be a really good value. If Daniel Tice was like 4K, he'd be a really good value. But at their price points, like neither one of Tice or Thompson, I don't think they really benefit that much with Robert Williams out. Obviously, Williams is gonna him being out will give them a few more minutes, but probably not enough to actually be meaningful. Kemba, $23 isn't a good value, even though he keeps burning recently. I mean, that price is still really nice on Yahoo. I do like Kemba over there. Not as interested, though, on DK. Danny Green or PJ Tucker, cheap enough to consider. I mean, like the upside on Danny Green and PJ Tucker is just so minimal. I don't know if I can go to either one on this slate. If I get burned by Danny Green and he goes off or PJ Tucker goes off, then, so be it. Dennis Smith, sleeper on Detroit bench, 30 DFS points. I mean, do we even know if he's playing yet? I don't think he's on the injury report yet. Dennis Smith Jr., so he is going to play. He will be available to play. Who knows how many minutes he plays, though? I mean, he hasn't actually played an NBA game since, almost a month. Because he barely played when he was on the Knicks. Like, he just wasn't really in the rotation. I mean, that's just really risky. I mean, I would be surprised if, like, Dennis Smith Jr. might not even be active. Like, he might not even be in the rotation right off the bat, but I guess we'll see. Might Carter Williams scare you off Mason if he's active? Yeah, that's one thing. So I think if Cole Anthony's out and Michael Carter Williams plays, they could start Michael Carter Williams at point guard. But still, Mason's so cheap, he'd get more minutes. And Michael Carter Williams is coming back from an injury, so I don't know if he'd be like, out. I don't know if they play him 35 minutes right out the gate off an injury, especially because he's pretty injury prone. I'd still like Mason even if MCW is active. It'd be a small downgrade, but I don't think enough to get off of him. Plumlee or Boucher based on position. Plumlee or Grant based on matchup. I mean, between Plumlee or Boucher, I think I'd give the edge to Boucher. I just like the upside that Boucher always has. His minutes are always going to fluctuate, but I do like Boucher quite a bit on this slate. Between Plumlee or Grant, I'd probably rather go to Grant if you can get him in. You need to do tiers. You would dominate. People have told me to check out tiers. I don't really play it, but maybe I will one day. Just really, my focus is on the main slate, and I don't really, want to get distracted by anything else. Do you like cats? I mean, I don't have a problem with cats. I have a dog, but I don't have a cat. We did have a cat when I lived with my parents. Jaylen Brown or Grant on DK? I'd probably take Jeremy Grant. Brown or Brogdon? Honestly, I'd take Brogdon. Like, I know Brogdon's been bad lately, but I still think Brogdon's too cheap. Like, we know the usage is going to be dominated by him and Sabonis. Like, those two guys are going to put up a big game at some point. Sabonis has been a lot better than Brogdon, but Brogdon, he's going to put up a big game at some point. He's still a really high-usage player and is really productive when he's on the floor. Should I swap Vooch for Adebayo so I can spend up on Draymond over Covington? I mean, yeah, I'd probably go that route. So I'd definitely go Adebayo, Draymond over Vooch, Covington. What's up, Noah? Late to the party. Missed you yesterday. Thanks for the heads up on Roby. Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have saw it. Because I did, retweet the tweet. But obviously, you only had like 10 minutes before the game started, so you had to be quick. It was just one of those things. If you were on Twitter around that time, you were, you got lucky. I know some of you probably weren't though, so I feel for you. Look, I don't stay on Twitter all night, but I do, try and, kind of skim throughout the night just to make sure all my guys are actually going to play. Pay up for Embiid or save some salary, go to Lillard. I'd take the savings and play Lillard. Will Dennis Smith Jr. play tonight? He's available to play. I don't know how many minutes he gets, though. He hasn't played in an actual game in like a month. It's his first game with the team. We just don't know how many minutes he's going to get. With how well DeLon Wright's been playing, I don't see them, running Dennis Smith Jr. out there a ton. DeLon Wright is still their, point guard, their go-to point guard right now. Oubre against the Magic, I'm fine with Oubre. He's someone that's just so inconsistent, but we know the upside's definitely there. So I'm fine with Oubre. Butler or Bam, more fantasy points. It's a close one. I think I'd probably take Butler, but it's definitely close. I do like Butler and Bam quite a bit. Those are really the two guys I'm looking to target from the Heat. Not much else, though, I like from Miami. Last 4 times Van Vliet's gone for less than 30 points. He scored 77, 44, 40, and 46 the next game. I mean, if you wanna buy into that trend, then go ahead. When Van Vliet has a bad game, supposedly he goes off the next game. So you might want to play Van Vliet tonight if that's the case, according to my man, W. German. You think stacking Bam and Vooch is a bad idea? I mean, if you can make it work, I'm fine with both those guys. It's going to be tough, though, given the minimal value that we have right now. Who starts if Wall sits? Well, I think Wall's expected to play. He's probable. I'm assuming he's playing. I think Dame could be a bust tonight. I would rather pay up for Steph, low ownership as well. I mean, yeah, you do you, Marcus. Honestly, I'd prefer Dame over Steph, but if you want to go to Steph, play Steph. Gary Trent or Josh Jackson. Both of them have been priced up a lot. If I had to choose one, I think I'd probably take Josh Jackson. Will Kemba break 30 fantasy points tonight? I mean, I would hope so. I'd hope so. I know he's been bad lately, but I still think Kemba, is a solid play. More on Yahoo than DK. Don't love him at his DK price. Is Gary Clark a value play or a bagel in the making? I don't think I'm playing Gary Clark. He just has so minimal upside. His upside is just so minimal. Gary Clark's he's like a PJ Tucker. He can play 35 minutes and score 10 fantasy points. Every time I play Van Vliet, he busts. I feel you there. Van Vliet, I feel like he's one of those guys you either get a massive game from him or he disappoints. It seems like at this point, Van Vliet's either putting up 50 or he's putting up 30. So you got to hope you play him on the good nights. Grant or Wall? Give me Jeremy Grant. Derrick Jones Jr., good value. I think he's in play just because we don't have a ton of value. And I never like playing Derrick Jones Jr. He doesn't have really any upside, but he is very cheap. He's $3,800. He started last game, played 29 minutes. If he's going to start and play 30, 31 minutes, I mean, at $3,800, he's definitely someone you can look to for cheap. Just because there's not a ton of guys under 4K that are guaranteed to play, over 25, 30 minutes. But he should be. Are there 4 guys under 4K you like so we can squad stud up? I mean, not really. It's Derrick Jones Jr. might be the best value under 4K right now, which is saying something. Frank Mason, though, if Cole Anthony were to be out, he'd be a really good value at 4K. Are we still riding with Sabonis? I'm totally fine with Sabonis tonight. I like him once again. I think he's too cheap. Like button, everyone? Yeah, like button, guys. Hit that like button. I appreciate all you being here, as always. Thank you for all the support, man. Appreciate all you being here. Dame or Embiid on Yahoo, same price. Honestly, give me Dame. And maybe that's a little hot take, but I'd prefer Dame over Embiid. Magic are so sorry. Are you staying away from Vooch? You got to see it before everybody else. That's why you said remember. I mean, I'm playing Vooch tonight, most likely, if I can fit him in. He's dominating the usage right now. The offense is running through Vooch. If the Magic keep this game close, I mean, Vooch is playing 35, 36 minutes at least, and I don't see anyone on the Warriors really slowing him down, especially since the Warriors don't really have a ton of big men. Their center right now is Draymond, so that tells you something. Frank Mason or Dwayne Bacon? If Cole Anthony's out, I'd rather have Frank Mason. He's just a more productive player. If Fournier and Anthony out, Bacon or Ross? I'd prefer Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross or Josh Jackson? Honestly, I think I'd take Terrence Ross, and maybe that's a hot take, but I do like Terrence Ross quite a bit. He finally had a decent game last time out, and I think he can keep that going in a pretty good matchup against a fast-paced Warriors team. Maxey or Seth Curry? Give me Seth Curry. Oh, because of the blowout? I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about blowout against the Warriors. I don't even know how much the Warriors are favored by right now. They're only favored by 5.5, so I wouldn't be worried about blowout in the Warriors game. And if it does happen to be a blowout, then so be it. Just tuning back in from following all the NBA beat writers, what do you think about Maxey on DK? I just don't know how many minutes he plays. Even with Shake Milton expected to be out, I don't know if that's going to, really boost Maxey's minutes a ton. He could play 15 minutes, he could play 25, he could play 12. It's just really wide range of outcomes. You can take a shot on him, but I just don't know if it's something that I'm going to be doing. Can we still trust Cousins even with his price decrease? I mean, he's just been so bad lately. It's tough. Like the last 3 games, I've played him basically all last 3 slates, and he's disappointed every time. I'm sure tonight I won't play him, and that'll be the time that he goes off. But it's tough, man. I don't know what to do with Cousins. I'm probably not going to play him. So, I mean, you do you. The upside's still there. But I've watched these Rockets games, and he just doesn't look like he's just not fast. I mean, he looks really slow. He looks like he's tired almost. He's not getting a ton of minutes. Like, I just don't know if he's in that game shape. Because it's been a while since Cousins has been playing big minutes, and he might just be tired right now. I have no idea, but it's tough to roster him with how bad he's been lately. Waller, Brogdon, give me Malcolm Brogdon. My guys always. Let's get it, Clinton. Let's get it, man. Dame or Vooch or Embiid? Probably take Vooch there. Be between Vooch or Dame. I think for the savings, I'd probably take Vooch. Sabonis or Bam? Give me Sabonis. How you feel about Tatum? This is a prime matchup for upside versus Toronto. How you feel about that? I mean, Toronto's not like a bad defensive team, but I mean, yeah, you can always play Tatum. I mean, he's not someone I ever mind playing, but on this slate, I think I prefer Dame. I'd probably prefer Vooch. I think I'd prefer Sabonis for cheaper. So don't think I'm going to be really going to Tatum, especially like in just one lineup. I doubt Tatum makes it into my one lineup. I reached and played Pascal last game. He dropped 25 points on Yahoo. Slim play, or can he duplicate this? I mean, wasn't it a blowout last game that kind of benefited Pascal? Like, I don't play Eric Pascal. I mean, even with the Warriors missing so many guys, like his upside's still just so minimal. Embiid, Curry, Dame, Vooch. Like, you asking to pick between those 4? I mean, it'd be between Dame or Vooch for me. Probably Vooch. Boucher or DeLon Wright? I think I prefer DeLon Wright, but I do like both tonight. Cashing all my lineups last night with Roby. Yeah, you should feel lucky, Devin, honestly. If you made it out with a profit last night with Roby, you should honestly feel pretty lucky. Just move on to the next slate. I know it can be frustrating to think, what could have been, as long as I didn't play Roby, what could have been, but I've come to the realization when those things happen, you just kind of have to take the day, or take it and just move on to the next day. There's going to be plenty of nights where you don't play a guy and he gets late scratched, and then there's going to be nights where you do play a guy and he gets late scratched. In the end, you're going to have nights where it benefits you. You're going to have nights where it doesn't. So T. Ross jacks the ball up every time he touches the ball. No dribbles ever. I mean, yeah, that's what he's out there for. He's out there to score. And right now, the Magic are missing so many scoring guys. So no Fournier, no Aaron Gordon. Ross should have the opportunity to take 18, 20 shots if he wants to. So I still like him. Cousins only been good for 2 or 3 games, been fading him. Yeah, if you've been fading him, it's been working out. I think on this slate, his ownership is going to come way, way down. Like, Cousins probably is going to be maybe 20% owned, if that. So if you want to still play Cousins, I mean, you're going to get him at low ownership, I think. Lower ownership, I should say, than he's been lately. Powell, if OG sits again, I'm fine with Powell. I don't love him as much on DK, but if you play on Yahoo, I think he does look like one of the better small forward options over there if OG's out. Simmons or Butler? Give me Jimmy Butler. Jaylen Brown, Jeremy Grant, or Kyle Lowry? I'd go Jeremy Grant there. Robert Covington or Terrence Ross? Give me Terrence Ross. Lillard and Seth Curry or Embiid and Korkmaz? Lillard and Seth Curry for me. Thoughts on Kelly Olynyk? I'm not really on Kelly Olynyk tonight. Like, I just haven't been playing Kelly Olynyk lately. I don't even think he's really been that good either. I know he got off to a really hot start. I think it was last game, but then he cooled off, didn't do much else. I mean, he's been decent. Like, he's been consistent. The minutes have been, somewhat high. I mean, he's been starting and been playing 28 to 30 minutes. At 5K, I don't really feel like I have to have Kelly Olynyk at this price. If he was 4K, totally different story. But with him being 5K, I just don't think I need to go to Olynyk on the slate. Mason, Vooch, Embiid, Ennis, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Daniel House, Gary Trent. Too many Orlando guys. I mean, are you talking about Carmelo Anthony? So, I mean, yeah, assuming that the Cole Anthony's out, obviously Mason's a good value. Vooch, Embiid, fine with them. Ennis is okay. I don't love him, but he's been getting the minutes, so he's a fine, cheap option. I mean, that's solid for now, I guess, but it's tough to really rate lineups, 3 hours before lock, 2 hours before lock. Hopefully we get that Magic news before lock. I don't think we're going to, but maybe we will. Wiggins or Eric Gordon? Give me Wiggins. I don't really play Eric Gordon whenever, John Wall and Oladipo are both healthy. Like Eric Gordon is just, his upside's a lot less. It's a lot less, I should say. It's not as high when those guys are on the floor. Vooch or Dame for pure points. If you're talking about like raw points, like just scoring, probably Dame, but fantasy points, I think I'd lean Vooch. Dawson Toscano-Anderson, yeah, I'm fine with him. His price is it's up there. Like he's 5,100 now on DK, so it's tougher to consider him like a top play, but in that 5K range, honestly, I'd probably take Toscano-Anderson over Kelly Olynyk, just between those two. He's still going to start and play 30 minutes, so he could give you 25, 30 DK points. Breaking news, Rondo's out tomorrow, Trae Young and Solak. Rondo's been out the last 2 or 3 games, I think. I can't believe Russell Westbrook is 9K tomorrow. Can't believe it. Crazy, man. Had a dream PJ Tucker put up 10, 10, 3 steals and a block. I'm going to lock him in. That was probably a nightmare, I would say. My man. I don't think PJ Tucker, he might not ever do that again this year. PJ Tucker's just, when in terms of fantasy points per minute, I think his fantasy points per minute is literally 0.4. It's just so bad. Favorite minimum salary play on Yahoo? If Cole Anthony's out, it's going to be Frank Mason. You want Sabonis tonight? Yeah, really like Sabonis. I think he's too cheap once again. I don't see anyone on Detroit slowing him down, him or Brogdon. I think both him and Brogdon are really good plays. Good luck tonight, Noah. Good luck to all of us. See you tomorrow, bro. See you tomorrow, Dave. Appreciate you being here, man. And good luck. Career night for PJ sounds like. Hey, if you want to play PJ Tucker, go ahead. I won't be doing that. I woke up, almost broke my phone. Yeah. I don't think PJ Tucker even, the ball could fall his way. He could literally be standing under the basket, the rebound coming right to his hands, and he somehow won't get it. That's just how bad PJ Tucker is for fantasy. I hate Tucker and Clark. Yeah, they're the same players. PJ Tucker and Gary Clark, they both could play the entire game and score 10 fantasy points. If you get fantasy points for just sucking up air on the court, PJ would average 5 points a minute. Yeah, he's just out there running sprints at this point. He's obviously, a really good defender, and he's, probably good for a team, but in terms of fantasy, yeah, PJ Tucker doesn't really stuff the stat sheet, as the kids say. Can Cole Anthony just be out to make it easier on me? I feel you there, man. Part of me wants to say, let's get this news late so that way, Frank Mason isn't as high owned, but then part of me is I just want to build out my lineups knowing I have some value, so just rule out Anthony and let me play Frank Mason. Honestly, I might just play Frank Mason and hope that Anthony's out, and then if he plays, I'll just have to make some swaps. I'm already going to have probably a good amount of exposure to those 2 late games, so I'll be able to make, a couple of swaps if Cole Anthony winds up playing. But yeah, I might just build out my lineups hoping that he's out and just play Frank Mason. Is Dennis Smith Jr. in play? Yeah, we've already had a couple questions about him. I just don't know what his minutes are going to look like. DeLon Wright's been playing so well, been getting big minutes. I don't really see Dennis Smith Jr. just coming in and taking away a ton of minutes from DeLon Wright. So my best guess is probably 10 to 12 minutes backing up DeLon Wright, if that. I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. is viable, personally. Jaylen Brown, 7.7K on DK seems underpriced for the upside. Yeah, he's a pretty high upside player. I just don't know on this slate if I'm really going to be going out of my way to play Jaylen Brown. I think I'd prefer Jeremy Grant for a little bit cheaper. Just personally. Great show, Noah. Good luck tonight to you and everyone. Let's get this bread. Let's get it, Marcus. Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate it. Embiid or Curry? I'd take Embiid over Curry. Thoughts on Plumlee? I'm fine with Plumlee. I think I'd probably prefer Boucher over him, but yeah, Plumlee, he's been getting big minutes lately. He's been really, really productive. Against the Indiana, they're going to need him out there against Sabonis and Turner, so I think we're going to get, 34, 35 minutes from Plumlee. So, yeah, he's definitely in play. I think I prefer the upside on Boucher. Boucher, if he gets even 30 minutes, can put up, 45, 50. Let's just hope the minutes continue to be there. I feel like tonight will be the night Boucher plays 15 minutes, but I'm probably still going to play him. The upside's just too high on him right now. Now that he's back to getting, 28, 30 minutes. Sterling Brown for minimum salary. I can't play Sterling Brown. Whenever John Wall and Victor Oladipo are both healthy and Eric Gordon's healthy, Sterling Brown just has he doesn't have a big role at all. know what, my brother? Let's get it. Let's get it, Marcus. Let's get it, my man. Is Tobias Harris in play as well? Like I said earlier, like when Embiid's healthy and when the Sixers team's fully healthy, I just rarely play Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons. If I had to choose one, I'd rather play Ben Simmons, but not the biggest fan of either on this slate. Seth Curry or Terrence Ross? Give me Terrence Ross. Is Kendrick Nunn too cheap? I mean, he's been getting good minutes with Dragic out. He hasn't really been that productive, but he is viable, I guess. I don't love Kendrick Nunn on this slate, but he's at least viable because he is getting 30, 32 minutes without without Goran Dragic. Van Vliet and Bacon or Lillard and Dennis Smith Jr.? Give me the first one. If I hit my million, I'm making you part of my entourage so you can show me how to golf. Hey, if you hit a million, JM, that'd be awesome, man. I wish you the best of luck. Derrick Jones, good minutes. It might be blowout proof. Yeah, I'm fine with Derrick Jones. Like, I never like playing him, but he seems like one of the better values right now. It's tough because value is pretty thin, but I think Derrick Jones Jr. is in play. Do you play on the sports book? I can't in South Carolina, Steve. Where I live, the sports book is not legal. If it was, I would definitely sports bet, but given it's not legal here, I just play DFS. Gary Trent Jr. tonight, not the biggest fan of him. His price is just coming up to a point where I just don't think I can go there. Zach LaVine went off against the Magic before. You think Steph can do the same? I mean, yeah, Steph could pop off any night. On this slate, I don't think he's my top stud. Like, I'd rather get Vooch. I'd rather get Lillard. I like Sabonis. I think he's too cheap. But, would I be surprised if Steph puts up 60 tonight? No, not at all. I think he is going to be lower owned out of the top studs, so you could obviously go there if you wanted to. Kimba Oubre, Hero, or Draymond? Give me Draymond. What news are we watching for? Really, the big news right now is Cole Anthony, because if he winds up out, that'll give us a good value in Frank Mason. But not too much else outside of Cole Anthony and Evan Fournier, two Magic guys. OG Anunoby is questionable as well, but if he winds up sitting, we kind of know who to go to there. Who's a $12 player on Yahoo small forward and $15 on forward? $12 small forward, $15 forward. I mean, small forward, it'd probably be like Derrick Jones Jr. He's $11, so I guess I'd go with him there. And then $15 forward, probably be Juan Toscano-Anderson for me. Either him or Olynyk, and I think I'd give the edge to Toscano-Anderson. $20 guard on Yahoo. If you could find $1, I'd try and get up to DeLon Wright, but anyone $20 or less, I mean, probably be like Terrence Ross or Josh Jackson for me. Probably go with Ross there. Terrence Davis, I'm not playing Terrence Davis. I don't see any reason to play him when the Raptors are fully healthy. Who do you think will be the highest owned player on the slate? I mean, if we get news before lock that Cole Anthony's out, it'll probably be Frank Mason. But if that news doesn't come out till later in the night, I don't think Frank Mason will be as popular. Any good value under 5K on DK for forwards? I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. for 3,800 is a solid value. I mean, I guess Daniel Tice, he should get a few more minutes without Robert Williams. I don't love him, but he's fine. If Evan Fournier's out again, you could target Dwayne Bacon for 4,400. So there's just a couple of guys. Good luck tonight, though. Good slate. Been following you since you started. Much love from Raleigh. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for following the channel for so long. I appreciate that. And good luck tonight. Give me a FanDuel power forward with same upside as Boucher. I don't know the FanDuel positions, but at power forward, I mean, I like Sabonis a lot if you can fit him in. Draymond, Jeremy Grant. Those are a couple guys I like at power forward. I don't know if they're power forward on FanDuel, though. Would you say if Fournier's out but Anthony plays, that could still benefit Mason enough to make him viable, or does Anthony have to be out to make Mason viable? Yeah, so the game before last, obviously last game, Frank Mason played a ton of minutes because Anthony got hurt. But the game before that, Anthony played and Fournier was out, and we got 26 minutes from Frank Mason. But it was also a blowout, so I think if we get a scenario where Fournier is out and Frank Mason, or if we get a scenario where Fournier's out and Anthony plays, we probably get like 22, 24 minutes from Frank Mason, which would still make him, decent. Obviously, it wouldn't make him a great value, but he'd still be viable. But if we do get a scenario where obviously Anthony's out, then I think we get probably 30, 32 minutes from Mason, which would make him a really, really good value. Especially if Michael Carter-Williams is out too. that is at least somewhat impactful, but I still think if Michael Carter-Williams plays and Anthony's out, we're going to still get pretty good minutes from Frank Mason. On a night like this, is it bad to not have any salary left? I mean, you can always leave salary on the table. I wouldn't leave a ton because, you're obviously in NBA, you don't want to leave like $1,000 on the table because you can definitely upgrade to better plays for that money. But it's fine to leave, $300, $400, $500 on the table, especially on shorter slates, especially like on 2 gamers and 3 gamers. Just a way to, make your lineup a little different. Something wrong with Tice. Don't even see him on the RotoWire NBA lineup. I think there was one game where he came off the bench, but I think he was back in the starting lineup last game. So he should be starting. Daniel Tice should. I'll be honest, I don't look at RotoWire for lineups. I look at Fantasy Labs, and I follow Twitter, so that's where I get my news from. Grant or Draymond, if you had to choose one, I mean, I'd take Jeremy Grant if you had the salary. I like both tonight, but probably take Jeremy Grant there. Thoughts on Van Vliet? I mean, I think his price point is just to a point where I don't love him on the slate, especially on DK. I think he's just a little bit too expensive for my liking. What do you think about Brogdon, Lowry, Hero, Curry, Derrick Jones Jr., Butler, Boucher, Sabonis, Kanter for cash? I mean, it's tough to say what the optimal cash build is right now. If Cole Anthony winds up out, you're going to want Frank Mason in cash, but I mean, I guess that's okay for now. Is Lillard in play tonight? Just worried if it's a blowout and he gets pulled early. I mean, the spread right now is what's Philly favored by? They're favored by 5, Philly's favored by 5.5. I'm not really worried about blowout. All these games have a less than a 6-point spread. Like, we shouldn't be expecting any blowouts tonight. And if they do happen, then so be it. But this is not a slate where I think we're going to get, it's not like we have the fucking, the Bucks playing the Cavs or anything like that. Or the Nuggets playing the Cavs. We saw the Nuggets whoop their ass last night. Boucher, Plumlee, or Turner? Probably Boucher there. It'd be between Boucher or Plumlee. I think I'd give the edge to Boucher. I do like both, though, tonight. But, yeah, I think I'd give the edge to Boucher. I really like Jeremy Grant. He seems way too cheap. I mean, yeah, Jeremy Grant, definitely in play. I wasn't really a big fan of him when he was like 8K, 8,200. But now that he's down to 7,400, yeah, Jeremy Grant's for sure viable. You like Eric Gordon House? I mean, not really. Like, I just don't. When the Rockets are, when John Wall and Victor Oladipo are out there, like, I just don't really play any of those secondary guys from the Rockets. Like, they're just not going to contribute enough. And Eric Gordon's too expensive to go to right now. Maybe House you could go to, but I don't really like either one. You expect some OT tonight because of the slim spread? I mean, yeah, it could happen. Thoughts on Plumlee? Jordan killed him last night. I mean, yeah, Plumlee's in play for sure. Plumlee, Boucher, I think those are probably like the two best center options in the mid-range. If you can't pay up for, Vooch or Embiid, then I'd look to Plumlee or Boucher. Seth Curry's the play. I mean, I'm fine with Seth Curry. I haven't really played Seth Curry much this year, but on this slate, there's really not a ton of cheap plays that stand out. Curry's viable for sure. You just got to hope that he's knocking down his shots, because if he's not, then, he's not really going to do much else. But at least it is a good matchup, pretty good pace game. Curry should have the opportunity to, at least get some shots up against Portland. What's up, Noah? What are your thoughts on McGruder? Just kidding, bro. You think Sabonis and Brogdon will bounce back tonight? They weren't horrible, but I expected more from them yesterday. I feel you there, man. I played both of them yesterday. But yeah, I'm fine going right back to them. I don't know if I'd play them in the same lineup again like I did last night, but totally fine with both Brogdon and Sabonis. Those are the two guys I'm really looking to from the Pacers. Not much else. Thoughts on Plumlee or Boucher? I mean, we've answered this question so many times. I'd take Boucher, but it's close between those two. What about DeMarcus Cousins? I mean, yeah, like we've talked about Cousins as well. He's been so bad lately, but the upside's definitely there still. It's just hard to trust him right now with how bad he's looked. Like this, I don't think on this slate I'm going to be playing Cousins, which probably means he's finally going to go off. But yeah, you can play Cousins if you want. I don't think I'm going to go there personally. I just think there's other centers I'd rather go to. I like Plumlee. His minutes are better. I mean, yeah, I think the minutes are more secure on Plumlee. I think the upside's probably higher on Boucher. If Plumlee and Boucher both play like 30 minutes, I think Boucher is going to outscore Plumlee. But I wouldn't be surprised if Plumlee plays 35 and Boucher plays 24. I mean, Boucher could still outscore Plumlee then, but yeah. Jackson or Wright straight up? Give me DeLon Wright. I'm on Sportsbook, and I trust your opinion. Who do you think wins between Rockets and Heat? I mean, I don't really give out sports betting advice, but I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably take the Heat if I had to put my own money on it. But obviously I'm not, so I hate to give out, sports betting advice if I'm not putting my own money on it. I think Wayne Ellington puts up his usual numbers tonight. He's had a calf injury. I rarely play Wayne Ellington. I'm not playing him on this slate. I'm playing Vooch, Sabonis, Maxey, and Lillard, and building around thoughts. I mean, like I said, Maxey's hard to trust. Like, even with Shake Milton doubtful, I don't know how many minutes he really plays. He barely played last game, but, I mean, yeah, if it lets you get those studs in that you want, then, yeah, for sure you could play Maxey. I just don't think it's something I'm going to be doing. Gotta head out. Good luck to everyone. See you tomorrow. Hit that like button as well. Yeah, hit the like button, guys, and good luck, Dylan. Appreciate you being here, man. I will see you tomorrow. We'll definitely be back around the same time. Probably, we went live at 4:30 today because it's a 7:30 lock. So tomorrow I think it's 7 o'clock lock, so we'll be live at 4 tomorrow, 4 Eastern. $5,700 utility. Let's take a look. Let's see. Not much in this price range I like. Probably be Terrence Ross for $5,300. I'd take there. When they're going to make Sportsbook available for us in South Carolina? Yeah, I have no idea. Sports betting, I don't know why. Like, why can't it just be legal in all states? It's just kind of dumb. I don't really understand it, but I feel like that's something that should just be legal everywhere. I shouldn't have to drive 2 hours down to, or 3 hours down to Tennessee to place a bet. Like, what's the difference? Just because I'm in the state? Like, that's just so stupid. Wiggins, Oubre, or Dre? I'd prefer Draymond there. Daniel House or Tice? I'd probably take Tice there. Could you play DeLon Wright and Jeremy Grant together? I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, both of them have been really productive, and we saw last game, DeLon Wright, Jeremy Grant, and Mason Plumlee all had huge games, so you could definitely play Wright and Jeremy Grant together. Wiggins should be a solid play. Yeah, I just don't know about Wiggins, man. I don't think I've played Andrew Wiggins this entire season. What's for dinner tonight? Don't know yet, honestly. I was thinking some Zaxby's. They got a little thing they're doing where they're giving out like buy one get one free boneless wing meals. Thinking about getting me some boneless wings from Zaxby's, but don't know yet. Might just cook something at the house. How do you feel about Van Vliet? Again, I think his price on DK a little bit too expensive for my liking, but the upside's obviously there on Van Vliet. He's been so inconsistent, man. It seems like Van Vliet, he's either going to pop off or he's going to really disappoint. Anyone else I should take instead of Maxey around his price? I mean, I don't really know what's down there. There isn't much that cheap. I think Maxey's $3,200. Let me see. Yeah, he's $3,200. I mean, I would say if you're looking for an option this cheap, I mean, Maxey's probably your best bet because there's just no one else I'm really even confident in. But yeah, so I just probably leave Maxey in there because there's just no one else I think that even gets decent minutes. Maxey could at least play 20 minutes and I wouldn't be surprised. Gambling should be legal everywhere. Yeah, I kind of feel you there. Same thing with daily fantasy. Why is DFS legal in some states and not in others? I don't know. I feel like daily fantasy, sports betting, all that stuff, especially sports betting. It's come to a point where sports betting is just, it should be legal everywhere. The NFL, they need to promote betting. They need to, publicly show the lines and stuff. People would love to bet on games if they could. And it's going to help everything. It's going to help the product. More people are going to watch the games if they have money on the game. Sports betting should be legal, 100%. Cash, Plumlee, or Boucher? I mean, honestly, Plumlee's probably safer because his minutes are more secure. It'd be close, though. I guess Plumlee, just because his minutes are more secure. In tournaments, I think I like the upside on Boucher more, though. Anthony Davis is out. Who should I play from the Lakers? What the fuck? That game's, he's not even out yet. I'm pretty sure it said he's uncertain, and that's for tomorrow, my man. Where are you that you have a Zaxby's available? I'm in South Carolina. Zaxby's it's available in the South. Is Fournier playing? We don't know yet. He's still questionable. Him and Cole Anthony are both still questionable. Sabonis or Bam? I'd take Sabonis there. That's a close one, but I think I'd give the edge to Sabonis. Any thoughts on Korkmaz or Ennis for value? I mean, I don't love either one. I think maybe Korkmaz gets a few more minutes with no Shake Milton, so probably Korkmaz. He's one of those guys that can get hot and just can start knocking down shots. I think you'd probably take him. Bacon and Sabonis or Jones Jr. and Vooch. Probably go with the second one there. Jones Jr. and Vooch. Considering tough matchups for other centers, would you spend up for Vooch or Embiid? I mean, I really like Vooch. I think he's one of the better pay-up options on this slate. So if you can fit him in, yeah, for sure, go ahead. How come you don't play FanDuel? I play on Yahoo. I play on DK. I'm already managing lineups on 2 sites, so I just don't really want to have to manage lineups on 3 sites. DK and Yahoo have always been my priority. Maybe I'll look into FanDuel, start playing there. I have an account and I've played on FanDuel before, but DK and Yahoo are kind of my focus. Thanks for the stream, man. Let's keep up the great work. Good luck tonight. Good luck, J-Rod. Appreciate you being here, man. Top question of the day. Yeah, the Plumlee Boucher. We got so many of those questions. I think I've seen at least like 15 or 20 people ask Plumlee or Boucher. We think about Olynyk's minutes. I mean, he's been starting and been getting like 26, 28 minutes, so that's probably what he plays tonight. He's not going to be as productive in the starting lineup playing alongside Bam and Butler, but he's at least a relatively productive player when he does get minutes. Like, he could give you 28, 30 DK points in 26 minutes. I just feel like you're not getting 40 from Olynyk. At least I wouldn't think so. He's not going to be. I feel like he's not going to be someone that you have to have at the end of the night. I'm above I'm in North Carolina. Sportsbook is legal here. Hell, all gambling. I mean, hey. I wish I was you, man. I wish I was there. That's something. I've lived in South Carolina my whole life, but that's one thing I wish was different, man. I wish sports betting was legal here. Because I got to sports bet when I was in Tennessee for a weekend, and it was just so fun. And I was able to be pretty profitable too. I placed a big bet on one of the NFL games Thursday night, won that. I had a college game I bet on the weekend, and I won that too. So I'm profitable in my 2-3 day sports betting career. I'm in the green, which I guess is a plus. Best pay up option for tonight's slate: Lillard or Vooch. I think I'd give the edge to Vooch, but it's really close, man. What's your favorite fast food breakfast place? Chick-fil-A, 100%. Chick-fil-A's got the best damn biscuits, and there's no doubt. Have the 4th slot available, 5,800 left. Who would you put in there? Let me take a look. I think I got some guys that come to mind. It'd probably be Terrence Ross, either like Terrence Ross or Josh Jackson. I think I'd take the savings and play Ross. Thoughts on Powell, who's a forward, $20 less on Yahoo? I mean, yeah, if OG's out and Powell starts again, I'm totally fine with him on Yahoo. If I'm going to play Powell, it would be over there where he's still pretty affordable. Don't you think it's mad because Plumlee is getting taken by Miles? I have no idea what that question is. Do we need to play Curry tonight? Is he going to be chalk? I bet. Steph Curry? I don't think so. My best guess is that Lillard and Vooch are both higher owned than Curry. Melo Siakam or Plumlee Grant? Give me Plumlee and Grant. Nwaba, Lee, or Korkmaz? If I had to choose one, I'd probably take Korkmaz there. Dope content, dope advice. Appreciate the time and effort. I appreciate that, Reggie. Thank you for being here, man. And good luck tonight, Reggie. You have Whataburger? I don't think so. Not where I live. I don't think there's one in South Carolina. We got Five Guys. We got Shake Shack. We got, what's the other burger place? We got Culver's, but no Whataburger and no In-N-Out, sadly. Graduated from KU and they have a Chick-fil-A on campus. Greatest breakfast ever, and that is facts. 100%, man. A good old chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A. There is nothing better to start your morning with. What about Ennis from the Magic? I mean, yeah, he's viable. I just never feel good putting a guy like James Ennis in my lineup just because his upside's so minimal. He's at least been better than Gary Clark, though, so if I had to play one of him or Gary Clark, it'd probably be Ennis. No Whataburger, and yeah, no Whataburger here. Or In-N-Out. Only West Coast stuff for those two places. Is it easier to make money on DK than it is on FanDuel? I mean, I've been more successful on DK. I wasn't that successful on FanDuel when I played over there, but maybe I should try it out again. I don't know. That was a while back, though. That was like 2 years ago when I was really getting into DFS to begin with. I played baseball on FanDuel. I didn't have that much success, but, You just got to play around, man. Try out different sites and figure out which one you like best. Me personally, I think Yahoo is my favorite site to play on, and it's the one I've had the most success on. Kimbo, Waller, Brogdon. I take Brogdon there. Whataburger honey butter chicken biscuit is the best. I'm a Texas boy, so I'm biased. I've never tried that. I mean, that sounds pretty damn good. I might have to try it one day, but never tried that. What's it called? Wendy's. They got a honey butter chicken biscuit, and it's pretty good. It's not the greatest thing though. Definitely Chick-fil-A's better. In-N-Out, you ain't missing nothing. See, I've heard In-N-Out's like the greatest thing ever. People hype up In-N-Out so much, so I want to try it one day. That's one of my things on my bucket list is to try In-N-Out before I die. And we were going to go to Vegas for my birthday last year, but obviously with COVID and everything, we couldn't do it. And we were definitely going to eat it In-N-Out if I was able to go. Thought you were up east somewhere. That was the reason I was surprised you mentioned Zaxby's. Nah, I'm down south, South Carolina. South restaurants are McDonald's, Arby's, Hardee's. Yeah. So I think in California, Hardee's is called Carl's Jr. It's kind of weird. You literally passed up my comment. Well, ask it again, man. I don't know what your comment was. Oh, I see it. Best 3 core players for $100 single entry lineup. I mean, Vooch, if you can fit him in. Frank Mason, I'd definitely be starting with single entry if Cole Anthony's out. So those are a couple guys. I mean, I'm not going to build out your lineup for you. And I'll be honest, Alpha, this is my stream, man. We'll talk about whatever we want. If you don't want to be here, then you can go check out somebody else. In-N-Out's really good, believe the hype. Yeah, that's what I've heard, man. And I've seen pictures. Them burgers look damn good. Them In-N-Out burgers look really good. And I think it's pretty cheap, too, compared to, like, other fast food places. Mark with a $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Hey, Noah. Great content yesterday. Won $350 and played Roby in 3 losing lineups. Get some boneless wings. I might have to do it now, Mark. But, yeah, God, the Roby thing, man. I feel you there. I got lucky. I swapped off of him last minute, but I appreciate the $5 super chat, Mark. And I'm glad you had some success, man. Any love for Dwayne Bacon if Cole and Evan are out? Yeah, him and Frank Mason would be solid values if Anthony and Evan Fournier are out. Will you ever do an after-hours breakdown, hardly play the main slates? Probably not. I just don't think there's enough. There probably wouldn't be enough interest. If I were to do like a late-night stream breaking down the night slate, I just don't think that many people would tune in. Plus, I don't really play the night slates, so I don't want to be giving out advice if I'm not playing. Thoughts on Ben Simmons? Yeah, we've talked about Simmons. I mean, I just don't really play him when the Sixers are fully healthy. If I'm going to anyone on the Sixers, it's going to be Embiid, and I think Seth Curry is a decent value. In-N-Out's fire, but must get animal style. Yeah, I've seen the animal style. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like onions and stuff. I mean, I don't love onions, but that still looks pretty good. I've seen pictures. If you had to choose one site not relevant, DeLon Wright or Kyle Lowry, honestly, probably give me DeLon Wright. That might be a little hot take, but I think Wright could definitely outscore Lowry, and I wouldn't be surprised. Brogdon and Boucher or Dame and Baines? Probably Brogdon and Boucher there. Would you ever take like 5 minutes of the stream to do tiers? I mean, the other day I had the tiers up on my phone, and I was able to answer questions. I don't know if I'd personally take time out of my way to answer tiers questions, but if you ever have any, you can throw them in the chat. I just don't want to be answering tiers questions the whole stream. But it's about 5:30, guys. It's a little bit past 5:30, so I'm going to end the stream here. I appreciate all you tuning in. Last question here from OG Beats. He said, Robinson or Seth? Give me Seth Curry there. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks as always. We'll be back again tomorrow about 4 o'clock Eastern Time. If you're able to tune into the stream, we'll be breaking down Friday's slate, answering all your guys' questions. Appreciate you being here, guys. Good luck tonight. We'll see you in the next one, all right? Good luck, guys. Appreciate it. Let's win some money tonight.